In case you missed it, the Buffs got humbled last night, losing 28-10 in Nebraska. Now the season being 1-1, first loss of the season. But we knew this was going to happen sooner or later, but the hype train is already over. Tough loss, tough start. Oh man, just being in Nebraska too, just it really hurts to watch as a Buffs fan. But we'll get into what the Buffs need to work on, maybe a couple positives that came out of this game. But first, thanks for listening, everybody. Welcome back to Buffs Banter. My name is Dean Frank, and I'm here with my roommate and co-host, Oscar Gonzalez-Moore. Today, we're just here to be unbiased and break down this game from a Colorado fan point of view. Oscar, obviously, it was tough to watch. We were in Applebee's. The vibes came in hot, and then we left Applebee's. Like, I'm never going back there. But just, I guess, first takeaways from this game.
Yeah, I mean, what a shit show, to be honest, man. That is just point blank the way to describe what happened last night. Even starting with the vibes, we walk into that Applebee's, we're expecting there to be some Boulder fans. It's all old heads. It's literally lobby music playing in the background. I mean, it could have not gone worse from the jump. And those buckets are definitely those MTV or whatever Long Island buckets are giving me the work this Sunday morning. Anyways, I mean, initial takeaways, man, like, the thing about Colorado, it's either you're all in or you're not. You know, I feel like every year since Prime has arrived, it's been like this team is going to make the college football playoffs. We're going to win the national championship. No, okay, clearly not. And yesterday was the epitome of that. Like, we just got our asses kicked by Nebraska. Sucks because that was probably going to be the last time we're going to play them for a long time. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody needs to calm down. We got CSU next week. Clearly, we're not going to win the Big 12. You know what I mean? The good thing is it's only week 2, though. So we can turn this around. We just need some leadership from within the team. You know what I mean? Shedeur, Travis, these guys need to step up as leaders in the locker room, and someone needs to let this team know that that was not okay.
Yeah, I mean, they got to know that. And my first thought is just like the similarities from last year, right? Like, we're looking back at just the same inconsistencies we had last year. Obviously, it starts with the O-line. We have a whole new vamped O-line this year. Like, this year, we didn't just start whoever we had. Like, we have transfers that were fought over from big schools all over the country. And we have the number one tackle coming into the country this year as a freshman. And it's just like Shedeur was sacked 6 times. He has about less than 2 seconds in the pocket on every play. He's getting pressured there in and there out. And it's just, we got to give ourselves a chance at some point, right? And it just, like, going into the offense a little bit, just at the start of the game, obviously that pick 6 killed our momentum going forward. Like, just straight killed it. After that, the hope was just gone after the first quarter, because second half, our defense played well. We didn't let up any points. You know, like, we could still have been in the game. Without the pick 6, without the missed field goal by Mata, it was a 1-score game at one point. And it just felt like the vibes on the team was just down since the first quarter. No one really wanted to step up. Where is that leadership mentality? They got the L on there for the jersey for a reason, you know? It's just like it seemed like Travis was getting angry. Like, it just nothing. We could not get comfortable on offense. And I don't know if it pinpoints down to the O-line, because at one point is like, we have no running game. If we have no running game, we can't just rely on Shedeur to throw 400 yards every game. And obviously that didn't happen this game. So it's just like Dallin Hayden had about, let's look at the stats. He had
32 yards on the ground.
In 32 yards, average 6.5, which is not bad at all. But he had 5 carries. It's like, why are we not feeding him the ball at least 15 times? Why? I mean, he clearly has the most skill on this team, and we just got to switch it up on offense. We can't go into downs like first, second down, right? I mean, we got to just switch it up. I feel like every team knows we're just going to throw it early on, and then we get stuck on a little 3rd and inches, and for some reason we're running out of shotgun, and it's just so predictable. Like, that happened multiple times. I don't know if it's Pat Shurmur that needs to just switch it up, because just from a football fan point of view, it's like we knew we just couldn't switch it up. And that's where we get stuck. We get stagnant on offense. And it really showed today.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this was almost like deja vu of the Oregon game last year. Like so hyped up. Like it's almost like we're in a meme cycle. Have you seen those memes where it's like delusional CU Boulder fans? Yay, we're gonna go to the Natty. We're 1-0. Here we go. And then it's like a game like this happens, man. And it's like during the Oregon game, there was so much hype leading up to it. And like you just touched on, the body language yesterday was atrocious, dude. That was disgusting. You had guys sitting like multiple feet away from their teammates. Like it was an 18-point game in the third quarter. I know if you were watching that game, like it was like we gave them the W like pretty much from the jump. We had one first down with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. But like, man, if you think about it like that from like a holistic point of view, an 18-point game in the third quarter, like we can dig, like you could dig yourself out of that. But like it just seemed like nobody wanted to compete. Everyone was almost just looking for someone else to blame. And there was just no leader or dog mentality, as you just said. And that's just frustrating, man. It's like we definitely, or I feel like as Colorado football fans, we know how hyped up this program is, not only to us, but to the rest of the world. And it's like, if we as a fan base and as a team are going to act like that, it's like, we got to be better. We got to have more self-control and take care of like what we value. I mean, that was just disgusting. I hated that performance yesterday.
There's too much skill, too much talent, too much potential on this Colorado team for us to waste it and keep coming out like this. Because, I mean, in some ways, I'm kind of happy we got humbled now early, like better than like halfway into the season and just get our asses kicked. Because like now, from now on, if we lose another game like this, like it's over. And it's funny how you say the delusional fan, because you kind of like us covering the sport too. It's just like, I kind of become delusional in some aspects because you hear so much good, so many great things about these new transfers, so many like about these new schemes and whatnot. And then what we saw yesterday was just plain out like nothing different from last year. And it's tough because especially just for us to lose to Nebraska too, like our rivals, Dylan Raiola, this freshman who's like now after the game doing the Shedeur, and they're all posting and just and it's kind of funny. They're like fanning out. But anyways, I mean, you look at the comment sections in any media about Colorado, because obviously we move the viewership and we get people talking, but just so many Colorado haters now, man. And it's just like, we knew this was going to happen though. We knew the hate was going to come if we couldn't win. So I guess from now on, we gotta switch it up. That's the one thing about college football though. We are in week 2. It's a long season. There's like, in no way, shape, or form are we saying the season's over. Are we saying that we're not going to win the Big 12 conference? Probably. Not how we played last night. But is a bowl game still there? Can we still win 6 games? Like, of course. And these next 2 couple games are like when we're going to have to go a little hot, because when we start playing these Big 12 teams, oh man, if we come out like this, it's going to be a long season once again. And we can talk about injuries real quick, because obviously that killed us. Shallow was hurt pretty early on. I'm not sure if there's it was rumored he broke his forearm, obviously hoping for the best. Trevor Woods was ejected pretty early on as well. And just the penalties, man, they were about on both sides of the field. The refs were just calling everything. And there was one catch that I remember with Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy Horn, like 198 yards week 1. Like, we need him to be successful. We saw that. Trying to get him hot. He had a sideline grab. Obviously, they showed the replay. He put his foot down, and it looked like it was a catch. The play-by-play broadcaster said it was a catch. They review it, was not a catch. And that just kills our momentum again. And just like, we were talking about this yesterday. It's just like, when are they going to get these calls right? I mean, we got so much AI, technology, all that. It's just like, for us to be, I'm not saying it changed the game or anything, but it's just small things. And all these penalties, they're calling targeting, they're calling all this, and it's just like, let him play. I mean, it just, I don't think the officiating was great. I feel like if you watch the full game, a lot of people would say that, but at the end of the day, we were not the better team, and there's no way to argue that.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, the ball was just not going our way. That Bentley I don't know if you remember, I think it was the third touchdown they scored. Bentley had the pick in his hands, juggles it up. The wide receiver for Nebraska catches it and runs in the end zone. It was just that type of day. And you're right. Like, it is so hard to get momentum. Even if the flag is like going for Colorado, like we are getting yards. Like if Nebraska jumped off sides, like after a big play, you kind of just want to get into the rhythm of it. And stay with me here. Here's an Oscar analogy that might not make any sense, but this team right now kind of reminds me of our intramural basketball team. Like, we have the pieces. It's just not a functional team right now, man. Like you said, there's so much star player potential on this team. Jimmy Horn, like, absolutely disappeared, even with that catch. I mean, like, come on, dude. Like, you can't go from 198 yards to whatever he had, like 30 yards this game. And it's like, there's so many pieces.
26, couldn't even break 30.
26. Okay, awesome. That would have been a great under to take. But yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating, man. It's frustrating as a fan. It's frustrating as someone who just loves the game of football to watch this happen, because there's so much awesome that could be produced from this team. So much amazing ball that can be played. And it's like, we're almost there. But on top of that, it's also the most hyped up team in college football right now. So it's like the pressure feels 10 times harder. Like, we won 3 more games than we did 2 years ago. When Deion first stepped in, 4-8, like, a lot of people thought, like, damn, like, Prime, like, he's not showing up or whatever. But that was a big improvement, man. Winning another 3 games is a big improvement. It's just like, we started off the season hot, and obviously we didn't end it the way we wanted to. But, like, I think we just need to take game by game. It's CSU week next week. It's going to be a freaking thriller. Like, for me, I mean, like, awesome. I know Nebraska, Colorado has been like a rivalry for however long, but we grew up on the CSU Colorado rivalry game. You know what I mean? That is our rival. So, like, if anything, to this new generation, to the people that are at CU Boulder right now watching Prime, this is our rivalry game, and we need to get it done in Fort Collins, excuse me.
AKA Lil Bro School. And it will always be that. I mean, it's a rivalry is tough because Colorado State hasn't beat us in football. So that's when a rivalry becomes. But we'll talk a little bit more going into that next week, as well as we have a big interview coming up in a couple days. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Past alumni for the football team also runs his own Buffs media page. So super excited for that. I guess just closing off, give me a positive. Give me a positive that came out of this game, Oscar, because obviously, I mean, we're trying to stay unbiased as we can, but we're here to cover the Buffs. We're here to see the Buffs' success because, I mean, that's what gets us happy. Like, I love football either way. A win or loss, I'm still watching the game, still rooting for the boys. Got to stay loyal. But what came positive, if anything, out of this game?
Hell yeah, Dean. I mean, you're right. It's Sunday. The NFL's back. And there were some positives to take from this game. I think my biggest positive is, like you were saying, Shedeur had less than 2 seconds in the pocket every single time. And although he did get sacked 6 times, which isn't really his fault, you know what I mean? And he had the pick 6, which was, it's just loud in there. He's had a couple bad throws. It happens. He still threw for 244 yards, which I just thought was pretty impressive. I mean, I know Nebraska ran the ball for 150 yards, but Raiola, Fatty Mahomes, the next generation, only threw for 185 yards. So eat that, Cornhuskers.
No, I mean, on that same note, like, Travis Hunter had over 100 receiving yards. And, I mean, it seemed like he was quiet. It seemed like we could have fed him so much more. So, obviously, we know that the 2 stars can show out whenever. My big positive from the game, I just got to go with the defense in the second half. Didn't let up any points, and it really seemed like we were controlling the game. We gave our offense a chance. It couldn't hit. It did not happen this past game. But you know what? We move on, we learn, and I guess we're just gonna have to keep rolling it no matter how much hate we get in the comments or whatnot. I mean, we're here to stay loyal to this team and got to keep representing the Buffs, man.
100%. Let's go Buffs. Buffs till I die, baby.